Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clip going up. I know they can't stand it.
So let's talk about this. How do you pitch yourself to companies for VC? Like what's the 101 kit that somebody should have if they're interested in getting VC money? And at what point should somebody even entertain trying to get VC money?
Yeah, so reasonable people can disagree, but I think that it really just depends on how ready you want to be. But venture tech startups is very much a fail fast type of mentality. You rather try early, figure out what you're doing wrong, and then come back again after you've fixed all your mistakes. If you're trying to get everything perfect, like, oh, my company has to be perfect and you have to have all these details right, et cetera, you're probably gonna spend too much time trying to get that right and actually not know what you need to fix because you haven't shown anybody, right? You're building in secret and you're like, oh, this has to be perfect. And then at the end of the day, you go do your pitch and they're like, oh, well, all these things are wrong and you could have fixed them far earlier. So again, if you want to raise at the pre-seed level, a lot of people don't have a product. It's just an idea and a pitch deck. And you're walking somebody through what you think it could be. A lot of investors on the VC side are just, we care about magnitude, right? It's like, how big can this idea get? Have you identified a really, really big market? Is it a really, really great team? And do I think that they can execute? And you can get money with nothing.
Well,
right?
so let's break this down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, because I want to talk to people that's not really familiar with the space. So the team is very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So putting together a team, like senior leadership, other people that have already had success in the space, that's going to be helpful, right?
Yeah.
And then like putting together like the pitch deck of the idea of kind of like you said, just even if it's not fully there yet, like what it can potentially do and convincing somebody that you have the capability of actually making this happen, right?
Yeah. For sure. And I would say even beyond getting to senior leadership, when you're at the really, really early stage, it's about the founding team, right? Mm-hmm. Who are the people who are founding this company? If it's like, say it's an education tech company and it's about teaching kids how to X, Y, Z, whatever. And you're a former teacher, right? That's really interesting to investors because you know the space, you understand what the need is, or you're a former principal or a school board member. And then you partner up with, say, an engineer who was at whatever other ed tech company, right? We're looking at, are these puzzle pieces in place for this idea and this team to actually work?
So you're leading. No, Troy, go ahead. So you're leading the Cultural Leadership Fund. Can you talk about what it is, its importance, and how unique it is to the tech space?
I can. So Cultural Leadership Fund. So it probably starts. Let me start at what Andreessen Horowitz is, because that will make Cultural Leadership Fund make even more sense. So
let's do it.
Andreessen Horowitz, we are a venture capital firm. We've got, again, about $30 billion under management, and we do early stage and growth stage investing. So the full kind of scale of venture capital. And we do so through a number of funds. So we've got a venture fund, we've got crypto fund, we've got growth, we have a biotech fund. So all of those funds exist at our firm. And then Cultural Leadership Fund is this other fund that is a strategic co-investment vehicle inside of Andreessen Horowitz. So we invest alongside those other ones that I just mentioned. But the thing that is really interesting and really cool about what we do at CLF is that we do those co-investments with two main missions in mind. So the first is connecting the world's greatest cultural leaders to the best new technology companies. And the second is getting more young African Americans into technology. So that first mission, you guys actually kind of talked about it earlier. When we say getting cultural leaders into technology companies, we mean the world's greatest athletes, entertainers, musicians, C-level executives, all of whom are excited about technology. They're interested in innovation. They want to play a role in the things that are being built across this industry. And CLF gets to be an on-ramp for that. And I think for so many who, we call them cultural leaders, in the past, it's been about like getting a sponsorship deal with a company after they've gotten big, or figuring out how to monetize on, X platform. But for us, it's about getting ownership on the cap table of these companies. And again, these are companies kind of pre-public. So before the average retail investor can get into a company, we're taking it back to the private space and making sure that we get Black dollars onto the cap tables of these companies.
Quick question for you. So what are like 3 or 4 key traits that an entrepreneur can have that will make your fund or one similar to it go crazy, like once you see their pitch deck or presentation?
Yep. So the important thing to note there is CLF is a co-investment vehicle. So we don't do direct investments. We invest alongside the other funds of the firm. But I think that's an important piece to bring up, though, because in this concept, I think about Black generational wealth. And I think there's a few really key ways to do it when we think about technology and technology companies. The first is obviously investing in Black founders, right? It's making sure you put dollars in their hands so they can put it into their companies and grow. The second is getting Black dollars on cap tables. So getting Black investors into whatever tech companies that are out there. And then the third is getting Black talent into tech companies. So being an employee at the seed or the Series A or the Series B stage, because that early employee equity can potentially be very, very valuable down the road, right? We've all heard the stories of Facebook or Twitter making people millionaires overnight. And so I think those are the 3 ways to really build generational wealth for the Black community. I think technology has proven that time and time again. And CLF focuses on those last 2. We focus on Black investor dollars on the cap table, and we focus on Black talent into technology companies.